Wall Street closes mixed with the Nasdaq and the S&P closing lower. Stocks in the Asia Pacific start on the back foot as well. Deep cuts in the Indian market, sensex and nifty lose over 1%, while the broader market gets battered, resulting in a market cap loss of 14 lakh crore rupees in one day. Today, the gift nifty again is indicating a low start for the Indian market. Crude prices rise. Brent rallies past $84 a barrel as Ukraine strikes Russian refineries. The cryptocurrency rally continues. Bitcoin trades comfortably above $72,000. Reliance will acquire 13.01% stake in Viacom 18 from Paramount in a deal worth 4,286 crore rupees. This is subject to the earlier deal with Disney going through and will see Reliance hike its stake in Viacom 18 from 57.48 to 70.49%. Tata Motors will invest 9,000 crore rupees to set up a manufacturing plant in Tamil Nadu. This is the third major automobile investment in the state over the last 2 months after VinFast and Hyundai made commitments worth 20,000 crore rupees. Good morning in the Mumbai News Centre. I'm Sonal Bhutra. You're watching Power Breakfast. Those are the top headlines, but what remains in focus is the moves in the Indian markets. We'll discuss that and a lot more. But first up, let's take a look at the Asian markets. They're quite range-bound. This is after what was a mixed handover from the Wall Street. Right now, the Taiwanese index is in the red with cuts of around 46 points. The Hang Seng is down 81 points. That's 0.5% of a gain that we are seeing. Other than that, if we look at something like a Kospi Straits Times, all of them are doing well. Nikkei continues its down move, and gift nifty, that one is indicating that the start for our own market could be in the red. It's another day which could see some red on the screen, but we'll have to see whether there is any recovery from those levels. But gift nifty is the one where the implied open will be important to watch out for as well. Around 55 points, 52 points is what this one is suggesting right now. Let's talk about the U.S. markets. Wall Street ended Wednesday's trading session mixed. The Dow closed with a 37-point gain, while the S&P slipped 0.2% and the tech-heavy Nasdaq fell nearly 90 points. The S&P 500 ended lower, pulling back from a record reached in the previous session as chipmaker China Nvidia cooled off from its red-hot rally. Meanwhile, Treasury yields climbed as investors considered the latest inflation data and the state of economy as well. Staying with the U.S. market, let's listen in to an expert coming in from RBC Capital Markets on her view on the U.S. economy and the Fed's rate cut probabilities.
We are seeing, clear and present evidence that lower-end consumers are really struggling, and maybe that's stepped up a bit. That is something that keeps the Fed in play, which I think is ultimately good for the market. There's this March view, right, and that got kind of pushed back to June, but our house was already in June, and so I got a lot of pushback from people when the economic data was flying. Well, they're not going to cut at all. And I said, well, they are going to cut because they're trying to prevent a recession, and they weren't necessarily looking for all this enormous, damage to the economy, but there's a contingent of people who thinks that you do need to see some damage. So I think that data point helps convince a lot of participants in the market that the Fed will move.
Okay, all right, that's the global market action. But we need to understand how our markets will fare today after this massive cut that we saw yesterday. Our research team is joining in with the trade setup, the stocks that are likely to be in the news, and the action from the F&O space as well. Sudarshan, let me come across to you first up. Very important trading day. What is the market setup looking like today?
Morning, Sonal. That's true. So the texture of market has become weak, and it looks like we might have another day where market is expected to be under pressure. Let me first talk about global markets. The overnight cues are indicating a mixed trend ahead of wholesale inflation, or say PPI data. US indices saw a mixed close where crude surged sharply after Ukraine struck refineries in Russia, and 10-year yield remains sticky around 4.2%. Shifting to our market, till Monday, what looked like a broader market concentrated fall has now extended even to large caps. On Wednesday, benchmark indices of Sensex and Nifty too saw a fall of nearly 2% each, with more than 40 Nifty stocks closing in the red. Talking about broader markets, all the sectoral indices on Wednesday saw a close in the red with a fall of as much as 7%, and in the last 3 days together, the fall is of up to 15%. The severity of pain in the market can be highlighted by a few headlines from the Wednesday session. First, mid-cap and small-cap index have turned negative for 2024. Second, investors have lost more than rupees 14 lakh crore just in one day. PSU companies alone have lost market cap of more than rupees 6 lakh crore, and 99% of mid-cap and small-cap stocks were in the red on Wednesday. 400 NSE stocks were at lower circuit and 200 NSE stocks were at 52-week lows. Coming to institutional activities, the sell figure for FIs was nearly rupees 4,600 crore, while the buy figure for DIs was almost rupees 9,100 crore, but it has to be seen with the perspective of ITC block days. GIFT Nifty so far is indicating a start with cuts. Coming to the cues to watch, we have India February WPI at 12 p.m. CNBC TV18 poll is at 0.22% versus 0.27% in January. In the US data, we have initial jobless claims. Estimate is of 2.18 lakhs, and we have Feb PPI as estimate is of 0.3% month on month.
Okay, all right. So those are the cues for trade today. Thank you, Sudarshman, for that. Let me go across to Vamakshi. Vamakshi, what are the stocks in focus today?
Well, good morning, Sonal. Let me first start off with Tata Motors. This stock is on our radar because the company has signed an MOU with Tamil Nadu government to set up a vehicle manufacturing facility, and they're envisaging an investment of almost 9,000 crores over the next 5 years. South Indian Bank also on our radar. They have said that they will not be onboarding any new customers for their co-branded credit cards until the bank fully complies with RBI's master direction. Federal Bank also in focus on the back of similar reasons. They have said that they have stopped issuance of new co-branded credit cards. They will rectify areas of deficiency and seek regulatory clearance prior to resumption of new issuance. Yes Bank will be another stock that we will be watching out for, and that is because a report is suggesting that the company is looking for new owners, is expected to sell nearly 51% stake, and this in turn will give exit to shareholders like LIC, SBI as well as others who had come on board as shareholders in 2020. India Hume Pipe, the JV with AMR India and Shoda Constructions, has received work orders worth almost 1,137 crores from the Telangana government. KEC International, also in focus on the back of some order wins, has received orders worth 2,257 crores. RIL also on our radar. The company has announced that they will be acquiring nearly 13% stake of Paramount entities in Viacom 18 for 4,286 crores, and as a result, on a fully diluted basis, RIL stake in the company is expected to rise to 70.5%. Apart from that, Sanofi India also on our radar. The company and Emcure Pharma has announced exclusive distribution partnership to broaden reach of Sanofi's cardiovascular brands. PC Jewelers, SBI has accepted company's one-time settlement proposal to settle the outstanding dues.
Okay, all right. Those are some stocks that will be in focus as well. And finally, Nigel is joining in with all the cues from the FNO space. Well, Nigel, what does the space have for us today?
Well, the FIs have turned cautious, Sonal. You know, besides all this leverage positions here in India, the reason that the headline index fell is because the FIs are looking very, very cautious. You know, yesterday they sold big time in the cash market, adjusted for their ITC deal. And even in the futures market, well, just take a look at that. They added close to around 11,000 short contracts, which takes the short positioning to around 44,000 contracts. You know, I like this. I like the FIs to short. It gives you some kind of a reason to expect a short covering bounce. If the index itself is lacking short positions, then you're wondering from where the short covering will come about. So the FI is adding some short positions. I wouldn't view it very, very negatively. There's another technical factor that I'll be looking at today. The PCR, I've been telling you all through the week, once it gets to around 0.65 odd, we normally see a bit of a bounce. Now, given that the GIFT Nifty is suggesting that we're likely to see a bit of a downtake, well, that PCR ratio could in all probability go to around, 0.6 approximately, 0.63 approximately. You know, when that happens, technically, this technical parameter normally plays out. And the reason that the PCR has come down to such a extent is because the calls, 22,400, 22,300, between them, they added close to around 2 crore shares. That's the reason that the PCR has come down. So the bears are feeling very, very confident. Levels that I'm looking at, well, the 50 DMA comes in around 21,900, and that's from where we bounced yesterday. But the crucial support zone is up for you on the screen. And in terms of resistance, the 20 DMA, which was a support, now it becomes a bit of a resistance. Yesterday, the Nifty Bank, well, it ended pat in line at around the 20 DMA approximately. Well, I'll be looking at that range as well as the 50 DMA, which is important support zone for the Nifty Bank. The GIFT Nifty is suggesting a bit of a pull down. You know, at some point of time, just for today's trading session, I'm expecting the markets to bounce from the day's low. So let's see how that goes. Back to you.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us and prepping us up for this trading day ahead. Time for a break now. When we return, Tata Motors will invest 9,000 crore rupees to set up a manufacturing plant in Tamil Nadu. We'll get you more on that after we come back. Welcome back. You're still tuned into Power Breakfast. Automobile major Tata Motors has signed an MOU with Tamil Nadu government to set up a car manufacturing plant with an investment of 9,000 crore rupees. The state's industry minister, TB Raja, says the investment could result in 5,000 jobs. This is the third auto investment that Tamil Nadu has attracted in the last 2 months. Vietnam-based VinFast will set up integrated unit at $2 billion, while Hyundai has also announced an additional investment of 6,200 crore rupees. With that, let's move on. The government has extended EV incentives for 4 months beyond July. The Heavy Industry Ministry has launched a 500 crore incentive scheme for electric two-wheelers, three-wheelers and e-rickshaws as well. However, incentives for electric two-wheelers have been reduced from 25,000 rupees to 10,000 rupees for April to July period. The Union Cabinet's nod is still awaited on the new scheme.
4 महीने की स्कीम है जो हमारा इलेक्ट्रिक मोबिलिटी का अभियान चल रहा है माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के मार्गदर्शन में और बड़े पैमाने पर देश को इसका लाभ मिला है और आज हम तकरीबन 13-14 लाख से भी ज़्यादा वाहन आज भारत की सड़कों पर इलेक्ट्रिक वाहन के रूप में चल रहे हैं तो उसमें निरंतरता बनी रहे.
Okay, all right, we'll do one thing. We'll slip into a break now. Up next, we get you all the cues from the commodities market, so stay tuned for that. Welcome back. You're watching Power Breakfast here on CNBC TV 18. It's time to talk all about commodities now. Big moves there as well. Manisha Gupta is joining us with all the update as always. Hi Manisha, good morning.
Thank you for that, Sonal. Well, yes, absolutely big moves coming in for the industrial commodities today. I'll start with the crude oil prices, which have gained 3% in the overnight markets, and they're trading at a 4-month highs right now. Well, the reason for this is that the U.S. crude inventories have declined by 1.5 million barrels. Not just crude, the U.S. gasoline prices gained by nearly 3% to a 6-month high because the gasoline stocks also fell by nearly 7 to 8 million barrels. There also are supply disruptions after Ukraine continues to attack Russian refineries via drones. That is adding premium to prices. Also, the talks of Israel-Hamas ceasefire have fallen through. So everything points towards higher crude oil prices. We are trading above $84 a barrel, and markets do believe that this time you could see a breakout in case of the crude prices closer to 85 and beyond. There are gains also in the metal prices. Gold is back above 2,180. Silver is trading at the highest point in last 4 months. Copper is trading at a 7-month highs as well. In Shanghai, the copper is trading at a 2-year highs right now. So there's been a big run-up in the metal prices also. For copper especially, it is about China smelters agreeing on a joint production cut due to losses there. Markets also are looking at aluminum prices trading at a 2-month highs. Nickel is at a 2-month highs as well. Zinc prices actually are trading at a 5-month highs as well. So everything that has metal written on it is trading quite positive today.
Okay, so that's what's happening in the commodity space. Thank you, Manisha, for joining us and giving us all those updates. So that's all about the equity and the commodity markets. But let's move on. A pan-India opinion poll by News 18 across 242 seats shows the NDA could likely garner a whopping 174 seats and a major chunk of the voter share in the upcoming elections. But all does not look too gloomy for the INDIA alliance either. My colleague Parikshit gets us the key takeaways from the News 18 opinion poll.
The Lok Sabha elections are just days away, and News 18 has conducted a pan-India opinion poll to capture the mood of the nation. Now, before we reveal the details, here is the methodology. More than 118,000 people were polled across 518 Lok Sabha constituencies in 21 states. Essentially, the poll has covered 95% of the Lok Sabha constituencies in the country. Now, let's look at the projections in some of the key states, starting with the biggest prize of them all, Uttar Pradesh. Now, as far as the vote share projections go, across 80 seats in UP, we're giving 57% to the NDA as per our survey, 26% to the India Alliance, 9% to the Bahujan Samaj Party. Now, as far as the seats go and who's winning and who's not, 77 or a clean sweep for the NDA, 2 for the India Alliance and 1 for the Bahujan Samaj Party. Let's also look at the state-wise numbers across 242 seats which were surveyed. Let's get you the big numbers right here. Out of these 242 seats in Bihar, it is advantage NDA with 38 seats. Kerala, advantage the India Alliance with 18 seats. As far as the NDA goes, it is likely to open its account with 2 seats. As far as Madhya Pradesh goes, it is advantage NDA with 28 out of 29 seats. In Tamil Nadu, the survey suggests that yes, the BJP and the NDA may open its account, may do well with 5 seats. India Alliance holding sway in Tamil Nadu with 30 seats. In Haryana, a clean sweep for the NDA. Remember, Haryana is a state where the BJP has made a lot of changes in terms of Manohar Lal Khattar going to fight from Karnal Lok Sabha seat, Naib Singh Saini being made the chief minister. Let's talk about Punjab. Here it has advantage India Alliance with 8 seats out of 13 and 3 for the NDA. In Himachal, the survey is suggesting a clean sweep for the NDA and the BJP at 4. Delhi, this is a state where the BJP has changed 6 out of 7 candidates from 2019, and here we're told that it is an advantage NDA with 7 seats. Uttar Pradesh, this is the big prize, 77 or a clean sweep for the NDA out of 80 seats and just 2 seats for the India Alliance. So we've got you numbers for 242 seats and 174 seats is where the NDA has a big advantage and it seems to be winning right now. So this was the result of our survey on day 1. We will also be getting you numbers from the rest of the Lok Sabha seats this evening and the big national picture. So tune in for our special coverage at 7:30 p.m. this evening, where we will get you more analysis and a complete national picture at 9 p.m.
Okay, all right. So that is ahead of the Lok Sabha election, the mega opinion poll. Of course, you can keep tuning into News 18 and CNBC TV 18 for all those updates. Let's quickly take a look at the Asian markets before we wrap on Power Breakfast today. It continues to be very range-bound. The Taiwanese index, though, has recovered its losses. It's absolutely flat with some negative bias. However, it has recovered from the lows of the day. The Hang Seng continues to be higher, 47 points higher there. However, we do have the Nikkei, which continues to be under pressure. Third day running, actually 0.2% lower there. And on the other hand, we have the likes of Straits Times and Kospi. They continue to do well, all of them up anywhere between 0.6% to 0.8%. If we look at the gift nifty, that should come up for you on the screen. That one is indicating that the start would be in the negative. It'll be an important trading day after that massive cut that we saw across the board, and we'll keep getting you more updates on that one. With that, we'll take your leave on this edition of Power Breakfast. Stay tuned. Bazaar Morning Call comes up next.